All right, what's going on, big dogs? So, a creator known as In Praise of Shadows decided to upload a video titled Bad Conservative Horror Movies. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. After my last upload I did on the Mr. Bertram TV show, some of you would know that I am like center right leaning, even though I absolutely hated that show. But that is not why I wanted to react to this video. What I wanted to react to was I noticed that a ton of YouTubers, a ton of commentary YouTubers anyways, have been freaking out over this video because apparently he goes after Wendigoon again. Now, it wasn't this guy who went after him beforehand, but there's been quite a few people, for whatever reason, have been trying to go after Wendigoon because of his like political beliefs or like religious background and religious beliefs. I don't know why. I don't know what he did to get this target put on his back, but a lot of people are coming after him recently. And so I wanted to get my own reaction to this before I, watched all these videos. And now it is also important to note that In Praise of Shadows actually re-uploaded the video without the Wendigoon segment in it because he was getting so much flack and so much hate about it. But luckily for us, this guy, Rob's Media Archive, actually has the segment and has re-uploaded it for us to watch. So without further ado, fellas, let's dive into this.
If you're not aware, Wendigoon is a horror conspiracy theorist YouTuber with several million subscribers that, as you will hopefully come to see, should not be seen as the wholesome, southern-friendly dad persona that he has publicly constructed around himself in the past several years. And that, like many people who talk about being Christians as much as he does, has a dark past with deep ties to far-right extremism. On a base level, his work has never been of personal interest to me. We share a similar focus on topics that we like to write about, but our similarities basically end there. I have no need or desire to hear 5 hours of opinions on Blood Meridian from a 21-year-old millionaire who got famous around the age of 19.
Okay, so what the fuck does that have to do with anything? I'm very curious on where he's trying to go with that. So he just doesn't want to hear the opinions of somebody who has more money than him? Like, so I'm assuming this guy is older than him because he's saying he doesn't want to hear an opinion from a younger person, a 20 or a 19 or 21-year-old, whatever, however old Wendigoon is currently. But this just right away sounds like this guy's just jealous of all the money this guy makes. Like that's really the vibe I'm getting here, is that he's just extremely jealous that Wendigoon has money. But maybe he'll make a good point. We're only 45 seconds into this, and I can already tell you I 100% understand why this guy tried to get this off the internet. Oh boy.
Probably the most boomer thing that I have ever said. Apologies for that. But I say that to argue that I really do think that there are some works that are really not intended to hit the right way until we are older. There are some works that fundamentally will not be understood by you if you are wealthy and have always been upper class your entire life. And this may all sound condescending, but that doesn't stop it from being somewhat true. I don't mean that to think that you shouldn't be able to say or publish whatever you like at any point in your life. You're obviously free to do so. And I also don't want it to be seen as if I'm talking down to young people, because I'm not. Politically, they are frequently the most with it, and their voices should be heard on issues that pertain to them. They are looked down upon too often in our culture. What I'm talking about here pertains to the very act of writing itself, and with that, perspective. And I don't know if you can actually really truly be a good cultural critic, with a voice that has a definitive perspective, without several years of genuine, independent, lived experience away from the home that you were raised in. And in his case, he became exceptionally wealthy by the time that he was 19 or 20.
Okay, so he just does it again. So so this is a 35-minute video. We're not going to react to the whole thing, but this is a 35-minute fucking video of just this section that was in the original video. And already 3 times, I believe now, he has mentioned that this guy is wealthy and that because he is wealthy, he has no right to talk on the subjects that he wants to talk about. That is what that whole last segment was, is that because he is wealthy or grew up semi-wealthy and then made a successful YouTube channel and continued to be wealthy, that he can't talk on these horror movies for whatever reason. I'm assuming he's going to end up saying something along the lines of, because horror movies are traditionally, like, the protagonists are usually like poor. Obviously, there's the spring fling type of ones where the rich kids go and get their skulls bashed in by Jason Voorhees or something. But a lot of times, like the Michael Myers and stuff like that grew up, in relative poverty, to say the least. So I'm assuming that's where he's coming from. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna guess that's what he's about to say. And if that's the case, then that is also really stupid, because as somebody who was really poor growing up, and then my parents worked really hard, and now we are doing, you know, relatively well, I've been around other people who have also done that. And just because you started out poor doesn't mean when you get money that you're gonna like remember what it was like and, you know, still be this good, awesome person. And just like if you didn't come from the bottom up and you always were just kind of started at the top and kept going up or whatever, you're always wealthy, doesn't mean you can't be a humble person and understand that there's people going through harder times. That, you know, money has nothing to do with it. Like, you can still relate to people. You can still look at people and go, man, like, they're going through a tough time. You know, I wish there was something I could do, or there is something I can do. Like, I can donate, I can go ask them if they're okay. Like, there's all sorts of things. And just because you come from money or don't doesn't immediately make you a good or bad person.
If you leave the home and immediately become famous and rich, without having to ever actually truly struggle, can you be considered to have ever actually had lived experience at all that would qualify you to give criticism on works of art about the experience of average and poor people? I would argue not.
I fucking called it. I fucking called it. Suck my dick, dude. I watch a lot of horror movies. That's the only reason I got that. That's because I'm a huge horror movie fan. But god damn it. God, dude, I'm getting so good at this shit. Let me tell you. You guys can't see me right now. You can't see my face, but I am fucking smirking right now. I'm so proud of myself. Okay. All right.
Why would your perspective matter as a critic? Not to mention the fact that Wendigoon was raised in a very wealthy family, and with that comes from a wealthy perspective. He himself has inadvertently admitted that his family at one point had millions of dollars, when he said once on stream, "Would you believe me that when my dad was young, he used to be in an organized crime gang and is now a Sunday school teacher. Very wild life that guy's lived. He was in an organized crime gang that my grandfather ran. A lot of bad things went down. They got investigated by the FBI. My grandpa went to jail. My dad had to testify and tried to take up the business. The business fell apart, and he ended up losing millions of dollars to the state. Lost everything, found God, became a Christian, and is now both the best man and the best Christian I've ever met. But also..."
Okay, so he brings up money again, but in this case, I just want to state, so apparently Wendigoon's dad was in some sort of crime family, which is, you know, obviously not great, but they lost everything. So did he really grow up in like a super nice household? Like maybe when he was super young, but if they lost everything, that sucks, dude. And then he became a Sunday school teacher? Like, I don't know what else he does, I guess, but by the way it sounds is I doubt they were raking in millions of dollars a year like he's trying to say they were. I think they were probably a normal family, and Wendigoon just so happened to start doing well on YouTube, you know. And I don't know if he's trying to use this as like a aha, and your dad sucked too, but if anything, I have more respect for somebody who's able to like fall down that low and then pick themselves back up and then be like a good example for their kid, because to everybody but this guy apparently and like random weirdos on the internet, Wendigoon's a pretty great guy. So I don't know what to tell this guy. He just seems to be very jealous of Wendigoon for whatever reason.
Here to criticize his body of work. I think his videos are very uninteresting, but ultimately that is secondary to what makes him worth talking about. The first of which are the very strong beliefs that he seems to hold as important, that are in my opinion the antithesis of what horror should be about. There are many things that are red flags that we could talk about, from the bizarre gun ownership, the flagrant use from my perspective of his religion as a shield from criticism, to the belief that he at one point followed many far-right accounts on Twitter, from Kyle Rittenhouse to Parler, the social media website where the January 6th insurrection was in part planned. People said, oh, he only followed them, but that doesn't mean that he agrees with them. But there are screenshots of tweets that may have been deleted. They clearly, in my mind, show a support to Rittenhouse. Although, since I did not take these screenshots, they do have to be taken with a grain of salt.
Okay, so then why put them on there at all? If you don't know if they're real or not, why put them up there? You know your audience is gonna like believe you, which thank the Lord the internet like saw this and called this guy out on his BS, but still, then why put them in there? If you don't even know if they're real, then you're just trying to throw dirt on a guy and like slander him for no reason. Like, that's just really shitty. And he's like, I'm not trying to say that because he follows these people, it means he has the same beliefs. But since his beliefs are different than mine, it totally means that. That's exactly what he's doing. Because no, just because you follow people does not mean that you believe everything that they are about. Okay? I follow Destiny, Ben Shapiro. I follow Tom Dark and Penguin Zero. I follow all sorts of different people. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Patrick Mahomes, like all sorts of athletes and influencers and all that kind of crap. And I don't agree with 99% of those people, but that's okay. I'm just fans of them, or I just like to keep up with them because it can help me get content for my channel. Like I follow all sorts of cringe crap on Twitter and TikTok in hopes that I can find some solid content for you guys. But that doesn't mean that I'm sitting there like, oh man, I wish I was a cringe lord one day. I can't wait to be the next victim of a Tom Dark video. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just trying to find content for myself. So no, guys, follow whoever the fuck you want. Believe whatever you want. Just because you follow certain people or certain things does not mean your ideals line up with that.
Of these accounts or supported them. But I do not believe that he has ever outright said that this did not happen, so take that as you will. We could talk about his past and supposedly being a founding member in an online conspiracy theory group that, according to him, snowballed out of control into being a white supremacist neo-Nazi organization called the Boogaloo Boys. His online username at the time was Boogaloo Boy, and he claims to be the first to have started using it, but that he left the group and became Wendigoon after things started to get out of hand. And this is not a conspiracy theory in itself. Shockingly, he literally has said so in writing. As you'll see, he was just like, oh geez, sorry guys, about starting a violent hate group, guys. Sorry that people got killed. I totally didn't mean to do all that. My bad. I'll do better next time. Also, it should be noted that the Boogaloo Boys are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. And guess who else always has on a Hawaiian shirt, despite the fact that he publicly totally does not share in their beliefs, guys.
You have got to be fucking kidding me, dude. He reached so fucking hard on that. Are you kidding me? Because they wear Hawaiian shirts, that means he still agrees with this group. Okay, so first and foremost, no, that does not mean that he agrees with that group. But to start from the beginning, so he forms this Boogaloo Boy account on YouTube. I'm pretty sure he was more political back then, but I don't know. I've not been a fan of his that long, and I'm not even like a huge fan of his right now. The group ends up getting crazy, I guess. And so he decides to disassociate from them and wants no part of the group anymore. Changes his name and starts making videos on what he just finds interesting and what he wants to talk about, which happens to be conspiracy theories like monsters, creatures, that kind of stuff. And yet, because this Boogaloo group likes to wear Hawaiian shirts and he happens to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt in his videos, that means he conforms with them. I don't know if this guy knows, but he is also wearing a Hawaiian shirt in this video. So does that mean he is now also part of this supposed white supremacist group? I don't know if he knows that. I also don't know if, you know, I heard Hitler really liked to wear shoes and pants, underwear. So I guess that means we're all Nazis. Joseph Stalin, you know, it got cold in Russia, and so he really liked to wear coats and jackets. So yeah, I guess we all are just terrible people, huh? What a fucking idiot. Jesus, man, I cannot believe he tried to stretch that. Holy fuck.
The statement that he included with this read, alright, so I'll go ahead and make my official statement here, because better to come straight from me. Over 2 years ago, I was among the first to begin using the term Boogaloo. Originally, it was a rendition of Che Guevara's, not that he was a good person by any means, code word for revolution, and I have always been a proponent of freedom and liberty. I believe in the divine rights of every human, and therefore, aspects of self-independence are important to me. So I began using the word in small settings, and then decided to make a meme page using the name as no one had yet done so. To give you an idea, my name was Boogaloo Boy, and several have pointed to me as being the original and started the Hawaiian shirt thing, as I've always just worn those shirts. However, as the term became mainstream, more ideas began to come into the group. Everything from Antifa members to fascists wanted in on it, and the original idea became muddled and broken. I always meant it as a for the people thing, yet it quickly became something else. To give you an idea, I watched the same news station call it a far leftist movement and a far right movement in the same day. It became something I didn't want to be a part of, and so I left. I dropped the name, took a break, and decided to talk about things I enjoyed like conspiracies and movies, under the new title, Wendigoon. It was something I acknowledge, but am not a part of anymore for what it became. Some of my current followers and friends were with me then, but I'm not a part of that anymore.
Okay, so right there, he just like addresses everything he was talking about previously on how he never wanted to address that he started this group. Like he was just saying how if he had made, have accidentally made this group or whatever, he would have spent, the next couple of years like trying to fight them off and get rid of this group and blah 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 blah. But even right then and there, he disassociated from it. What is he supposed to do? He's one guy against a bunch of crazy people. Like he literally stated in there that people don't even know what to classify them as. They're just a bunch of lunatics who do dumb crap, and he disassociated with them and clearly has nothing to do with them anymore. You would think that Wendigoon, someone with like 3.5 million subs, if somebody caught him at one of these events, do you not think that would be everywhere on the internet? Do you really think people are trying to cover that up from him? I really, really doubt that.
Means people as a very select group. Wendigoon is very publicly friends with Turkey Tom. They have been seen together on multiple occasions, and I've seen online mentions that Tom was either at his wedding or at the very least was invited. Tom has been accused of using the N-word multiple times in private conversations, including these screenshots of texts that are alleged to be real. And he's also been accused of saying that the upper tiers of his Patreon were intended for Jews with deep pockets. Wendigoon is publicly connected to the Internet Historian, and has even appeared in his videos. The Internet Historian publicly said that his birthday was April 20th. It is not, and has only said that as a joke because that is Hitler's birthday.
Does this guy really not know what 420 is? Like, Jesus Christ.
Publicly friends with Donut Operator, and even retweeted a photograph of the two of them hugging. Donut Operator is a gun-crazed, very far-right YouTuber with 4 million subscribers, whose career consists of him reviewing footage of police officers shooting and killing people. He was once a cop himself, before he made more money making YouTube videos and retired. His content is very pro-state, pro-cop, pro-gun, and pro-death to people who don't share his beliefs propaganda. For example, one of his videos is titled, Predator Takes Shotgun to the Face, and features a picture of him smiling in the corner of the thumbnail next to an image of a terrified man about to be executed by cops, with the text that reads, head removal.
Hi everyone, Donut here. We got a couple of shootings for you today. The main shooting just warms my heart.
And
Okay, first off, if a PDF file is having that happen to him, okay, I don't know why you're upset about this. I don't know why you'd be upset about, a predator getting what they deserve. But all right, anyways, guys, I went ahead and kind of skipped through the rest of the video here. We were about 15 minutes into it, and it is literally just the same shit on repeat. It is just him being upset that Wendigoon came from a wealthy family and that this guy didn't come from a wealthy family, and that this guy doesn't make enough money and Wendigoon makes too much money, and that because Wendigoon has taken pictures with people or used to be or is friends with certain people, that means that he is just as bad or even worse than these other people. And a lot of the cases he gave were of like we saw earlier with him being friends with Turkey Tom, or with him being friends with some ordinary gamers who apparently are awful, terrible people because some of their private conversations got leaked of them saying the N-word. Or in some ordinary gamer's case, he made that video on caffles or cuffles, and people like this lunatic call him transphobic for saying that a person who stole a bunch of money for drug use is a psychopath. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy, remember to please leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to watch the full video, I will leave a link down below for you. Fair warning, it's super cringe, and it was a pain in the ass to watch and just made me very upset the more I watched it. So fair warning on that. Don't forget to come check me out over on all my socials. Links will be down below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. We're really close to 500 subs, so if you could, please smack that subscribe button. It's completely free, and you can change your mind at any point. Thank you guys for sticking around until the end of the video, and until the next video, Godspeed.